Hi, my name is Amber, and I want to tell you my story. Not because it's extraordinary in the eyes of others, but because it is mine, and if I can survive, struggle, and rise, then maybe someone reading this can too. I was born in a small, dusty town where life was hard and dreams felt like luxuries. My family struggled to get by. My father worked odd jobs, and my mother cleaned houses to keep food on the table. Money was always short, opportunities were rarer, and hope seemed like a fragile thing, easily broken. From a very young age, I realized life wouldn't hand me anything. I remember sitting on the roof of our tiny house, staring at the sky, imagining a life beyond the streets I knew so well. I wanted to go somewhere my thoughts couldn't reach yet. I wanted more than survival, I wanted a chance to shine. School was both my refuge and my battlefield. I loved learning, but it was hard to focus when my stomach was often empty and the world around me seemed indifferent. I wasn't the brightest kid in the class, and I wasn't the most confident. I was ordinary, quiet, and often invisible. But I learned early that ordinary people can do extraordinary things if they never give up. At the age of 12, life threw me my first big challenge. My father lost his job, and the little stability we had crumbled. My mother had to work longer hours, and I suddenly had responsibilities far beyond my age. I started tutoring younger kids in the neighborhood to help pay for school supplies. I delivered newspapers in the mornings, sold handmade crafts on weekends, and did anything I could to contribute. Every day was exhausting, but every day I learned something, that strength comes from persistence, even when you feel weak. During this time, I discovered a secret passion, writing. At night, I would hide in a corner of our tiny living room with a notebook and pen, pouring my thoughts onto the pages. I wrote about my dreams, my fears, and the life I wanted. Writing became my escape, my power, and my companion. I began keeping a journal, not just of events, but of emotions, the things I couldn't say out loud. One night, I wrote a letter to myself. Ayesha, you may be small, poor, and scared, but you have a fire inside. Never let anyone tell you who you are. Fight for your dreams, no matter what. One day, the world will notice your strength. It felt silly then, but writing it down made me believe it. That little spark of belief became my first weapon against life's challenges. Middle school was rough. Kids at school could be cruel, especially when you're different. I was shy, poor, and didn't wear fancy clothes. I was bullied, laughed at, and ignored. It hurt more than I can describe. I could have given up, but something inside me refused. I remembered that letter, that promise I made to myself, and it reminded me that I had a choice. I could let the world defeat me, or I could fight back in my own way. I began to work harder, not to prove anyone wrong, but to prove to myself that I could. I spent hours after school studying, reading books that weren't required for class, and teaching myself skills that I thought might one day help me escape this life. Every evening, I would look at the stars and imagine that they were guiding me, reminding me that the universe is bigger than my problems. By the time I turned 14, I was balancing school, part-time jobs, and writing. I often cried myself to sleep, exhausted and overwhelmed, but I never stopped. I discovered that resilience isn't about never falling, it's about getting up every time you fall. And I fell a lot. But I got up. Always. One of the most important lessons I learned during this time was the power of choice. Life kept giving me situations I didn't ask for: poverty, bullying, fear, but I learned I could choose how to respond. I could choose bitterness, or I could choose courage. I chose courage. And then, something unexpected happened. I met Ms. Farah, a teacher who saw potential in me when no one else did. She encouraged me to write more seriously, to enter writing competitions, and to never hide my voice. She became my mentor, my guide, and one of the first people who truly believed I could rise above my circumstances. Through her guidance, I started to dream bigger. I wanted more than survival, I wanted impact. I wanted to help others, to inspire, and to live a life that mattered. I realized that my struggles didn't have to define me, they could shape me into someone stronger, someone capable of facing anything. That year, I won my first school writing competition. It wasn't much, just a certificate and a small prize, but it felt like the first real victory in my life. I remember holding that certificate and feeling a fire in my chest, a fire that whispered, "This is just the beginning." From that moment, I made a silent vow: no matter how hard life became, I would chase my dreams relentlessly. I would fight every obstacle, face every fear, and never stop believing in myself. Looking back, I realize now that those early struggles, those moments of hunger, rejection, and despair, were shaping me into someone who could never be broken. Life tried to defeat me, but it only made me stronger. And it was just the beginning of a journey that would test me in ways I could never imagine. When I turned 15, life seemed to get heavier, as if the universe wanted to test how much I could carry. School became even more challenging, not just because of the lessons, but because of the expectations, the judgment, and the weight of my responsibilities at home. My mother was working double shifts, and my father was still struggling to find steady work. I had to be responsible in ways no 15-year-old should have to be. I remember waking up before dawn to help my younger siblings get ready for school. I prepared breakfast with whatever little we had, helped them with homework, and then ran to my part-time job delivering newspapers. The days were long, the nights were short, and exhaustion was constant. Sometimes, I would sit on the rooftop after midnight, staring at the stars, wondering if anyone else felt the same struggles I did. And then there were the dreams that didn't let me sleep. Writing had become more than just a hobby, it was my lifeline. I began submitting my stories to competitions, online forums, and even small magazines. But rejection came faster than I expected. Every no felt like a punch to the stomach, and sometimes I cried, wondering if my dreams were foolish. But each time, I reminded myself of the vow I had made: never give up. The hardest challenge wasn't rejection, it was people. People who doubted me, who whispered that a poor girl from a small town could never make it. Classmates mocked me for my clothes, my accent, my handwriting. Even teachers sometimes dismissed me, treating me as invisible. There were days I wanted to disappear, to hide from the world completely. But then I remembered Ms. Farah. Her belief in me had planted a seed, a small flame that refused to die. She had once told me, "Ayesha, the world will try to tell you your voice doesn't matter. Don't listen. Your story is yours. Own it." So I did. I wrote at night, often until my eyes burned and my hands ached. I poured every ounce of pain, every drop of hope, into my stories. I wrote about girls like me, trapped in circumstances they didn't choose, struggling to find light. Writing became my protest, my rebellion, and my therapy. At 16, I faced another challenge that shook me deeply. A relative who was supposed to care for me tried to manipulate my life for their own benefit. They wanted to control my choices, decide where I could go, what I could do, and even whom I could talk to. For the first time, I felt trapped, powerless, and terrified. I considered giving up my education, quitting my jobs, and accepting that life would always dictate my path. But something inside me refused. I remembered the letter I had written to myself years ago, the one where I promised never to give up. I realized that this was a defining moment. Would I let fear control me, or would I rise above it? I chose to rise. It wasn't easy. I spent weeks quietly planning how to take control of my own life. I reached out to Ms. Farah, explained my situation, and she helped me find a safe path forward. Slowly, I reclaimed my independence, asserting my right to choose my own future. The sense of empowerment I felt was intoxicating. It was the first time I truly understood that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act despite it. By the time I was 17, I had faced poverty, rejection, bullying, and manipulation, but I had survived. And more than survival, I had begun to thrive. My writing had improved. My stories were being recognized in local competitions. I even started helping younger girls in my neighborhood, tutoring them after school, encouraging them to dream bigger than their circumstances. It was during this time that I began to understand something important. My struggles were not weaknesses, they were my teachers. Every sleepless night, every hard day, every insult, every rejection had shaped me into someone stronger, more resilient, and more determined. I realized that I could turn pain into power, and that even in the darkest moments, hope was never truly lost. I remember one evening, sitting on the rooftop again, notebook in hand, writing my thoughts. If I can survive this, I can survive anything. If I can rise from this, I can rise from anything. And I will. One day, I will not just live, I will inspire, I will lead, I will show that nothing is impossible. And that was when I made another vow. I would not only chase my dreams, I would chase them fiercely, relentlessly, and without apology. By the time I was 18, I had learned one very important truth: life doesn't hand out opportunities, you have to take them, sometimes by force. My part-time jobs, my endless writing, and my late-night struggles had taught me discipline, resilience, and patience. But I was still hungry, not just for food or money, but for recognition, for purpose, for a life that meant something beyond mere survival. One day, while browsing a local newspaper, I saw a notice about a writing competition sponsored by a national magazine. The theme was Voices of Youth. My heart raced. This could be my chance. My first real chance to be seen beyond my small town. But fear whispered immediately, "You're just a poor girl from nowhere. What makes you think you can compete with the best?" I almost ignored it. Almost. Then I remembered everything I had been through, the bullying, the poverty, the long nights, the sacrifices. I realized that if I let fear stop me, then all my struggles would have been in vain. So I decided to enter. I wrote every evening after school, pouring my life, my dreams, my struggles into a story. I wrote as if my life depended on it, because in many ways, it did. I wrote about hope in the face of despair, about courage when no one believed in you, about the power of choosing yourself even when the world doubts you. Submitting the story was terrifying. I felt like I was exposing my soul to strangers, opening myself to judgment. But I did it anyway. And then, I waited. Weeks passed. I kept busy with school and work, but the anticipation gnawed at me. I tried not to imagine winning, because imagining failure was safer. But deep down, I knew that this was my moment to test everything I had learned about resilience and self-belief. Then the call came. I had one. I remember sitting on the edge of my bed, clutching the phone, hardly able to breathe. The magazine editor's voice on the other end congratulated me, told me they wanted to feature my story, and invited me to the city for an interview. My heart swelled with a mix of excitement and fear. This was it, the moment where my life could change forever. But the reality hit me quickly. Traveling to the city, paying for accommodations, and leaving my family behind, even for a short time, was a huge risk. I didn't have money. I didn't have support. And part of me whispered, what if this is a mistake? I sat on the rooftop that night, notebook in hand, staring at the stars. And then I realized, every risk I had ever taken, every challenge I had faced, had brought me here. This was just another step. I had survived worse. I had overcome worse. And this time, the stakes were higher, but so was the reward. I found a way to borrow money for the trip and packed my bags with trembling hands. The journey to the city was both thrilling and terrifying. For the first time, I felt the weight of possibility pressing down on me. For the first time, I realized that dreams could become real if you fought hard enough. The magazine office was intimidating. Sleek furniture, confident staff, and walls lined with stories from young writers across the country. I felt small, inexperienced, out of place. But I remembered Miss Farah's words, your voice matters. Speak it, and don't let anyone silence you. During the interview, I spoke honestly about my life, my struggles, and my dreams. I didn't try to impress. I just told the truth. And it resonated. The editors listened. They smiled. They told me my story had heart, courage, and authenticity, the very things money and connections could never buy. That moment, standing in that office, I felt a surge of clarity. I realized that opportunity doesn't always knock politely. Sometimes it arrives in the form of fear, risk, and uncertainty. The question isn't whether you're ready, the question is whether you're brave enough to act anyway. My story was published in the magazine, and suddenly, I was no longer invisible. People from all over the country read my words. Messages came in from other girls like me, thanking me for sharing my journey, telling me how inspired they were. For the first time, I understood the power of my voice, not just for myself, but for others. But with success came new challenges. Jealousy, criticism, and doubt followed. Some people told me I was lucky, not talented. Others whispered that my story was exaggerated. It hurt deeply. I wondered if the world was ready for someone like me. But I refused to let their words define me. I had survived poverty, fear, and rejection. I could survive criticism too. That year, I learned another important lesson. Success isn't just about winning, it's about resilience, courage, and integrity. Every opportunity comes with risk. Every recognition comes with judgment. And every dream comes with the responsibility to keep fighting, no matter what. By the time I returned home, I was different. Not just because people knew my name, but because I knew my own power. I realized that life would continue to test me, but now I had proof that I could rise, that I could succeed, and that I could inspire others to do the same. That was my first real victory, and I thought that after my first success, life would finally get easier. I was wrong. Returning home from the city, I felt a mixture of pride and fear. Pride because I had accomplished something I once thought impossible. Fear because I now realized that every achievement comes with its own battles. At school, some classmates who had once ignored me started looking at me differently, some with admiration, some with jealousy. But the real challenges didn't come from peers. They came from people I had trusted. One of my close friends, someone I had shared my struggles and dreams with, started spreading rumors about me. They claimed my story was exaggerated, that I had cheated my way to recognition. I felt betrayed, humiliated, and angry. For a moment, I wanted to retreat, to hide away and never write again. But then I remembered why I started writing in the first place. I wrote because I had a story to tell, because my voice mattered, because I wanted to inspire others. I couldn't let someone else's lies steal that from me. It was hard. I cried myself to sleep more than once. I doubted my talent, my worth, and even my dreams. But in the quiet moments, I found my strength again. I realized that resilience isn't about never feeling pain, it's about choosing to keep moving forward despite it. Around the same time, my family faced another crisis. My father fell seriously ill, and my mother had to take on even more work. I had to juggle school, writing, jobs, and now caring for my family. There were nights I didn't sleep at all, helping my father with medication, tutoring my siblings, and still finding a few hours to write in the early morning. It felt impossible. Some days, I thought I couldn't survive. Some days, I wondered if it was worth it. But I held on to a single truth: my struggles didn't define me, my actions did. I also discovered that setbacks often carry lessons. The betrayal taught me to be cautious about whom I trust, but it also taught me forgiveness. The illness taught me compassion and patience. And the exhaustion taught me discipline and the power of determination. One evening, I sat by the window, notebook in hand, staring at the sky. I wrote, "Life will always test me. But every test is an opportunity to grow stronger. Every storm will pass. Every challenge is a chance to rise. I will not break." Around that time, I received an unexpected message from one of the magazine editors. They had noticed my absence from writing submissions and wanted to know if I was ready for another feature. This was a lifeline, a reminder that despite the storms, opportunities still existed. I poured my heart into my next story, drawing not from imagination, but from lived experience. I wrote about struggle, betrayal, resilience, and hope. When it was published, the response was overwhelming. People reached out, sharing their own struggles and thanking me for inspiring them. I realized then that pain could be transformed into purpose. By the time I was 19, I understood a deeper truth: life is unpredictable, unfair, and sometimes cruel. But it's also filled with moments of beauty, opportunity, and connection. The key is to hold on to hope, fight for your dreams, and never let fear or betrayal stop you. I started speaking to other girls in my town, sharing my story, teaching them that they could rise above their circumstances. I realized that my journey was no longer just about me, it was about creating a ripple effect, helping others find their strength. And so, even in the midst of storms, betrayal, illness, exhaustion, I learned to see the sunrise. I learned that resilience isn't a moment, it's a habit. It's choosing to keep walking forward, one step at a time, no matter how heavy life feels. By the time I turned 20, I had learned one thing very clearly: life is a series of choices, and some choices define everything that comes after. Every struggle, every small victory, every tear and sleepless night had led me here, to a moment where I had to decide not just for myself, but for my future. I had been writing consistently, sharing my story, and helping girls in my town. But I wanted more. I wanted to reach farther, inspire more, and prove to the world, and to myself, that no one's circumstances can limit what they can achieve. Then an unexpected opportunity came knocking. A foundation focused on empowering young women invited me to attend a leadership and writing workshop in a big city. It was prestigious, highly competitive, and I knew it could change my life. But it was also risky. Traveling so far, staying away from my family, leaving behind my small safety net, it was terrifying. I remember sitting on the rooftop late at night, staring at the stars. Fear whispered, "What if you fail? What if you get lost in the crowd? What if you can't handle it?" But then I remembered every challenge I had ever faced. I remembered poverty, bullying, betrayal, my father's illness, endless nights of exhaustion. I realized that I had survived far worse. I had faced impossible odds before, and I had risen. So I said yes. The moment I arrived in the city, I felt overwhelmed. The skyscrapers, the bustling streets, the confident young women from all over the country, it was intimidating. I felt small, out of place, unsure if I belonged. But I reminded myself, belonging isn't given, it's earned through courage and action. The workshop was intense. We were pushed to share our stories, lead discussions, and challenge our own limitations. For the first time, I was surrounded by people who had dreams as big as mine, but unlike me, they had resources, connections, and privilege. I felt the sting of insecurity, but I also felt determination burning brighter than ever. During one session, we were asked to present a vision for our future. I spoke about my dream of writing stories that empower young women, of creating platforms for voices like mine, of proving that circumstances do not define potential. I spoke from my heart, from the experiences that had shaped me. The response was incredible. People listened, asked questions, and offered support. For the first time, I realized that my voice had power, not just to inspire, but to create real change. But the real test came after the workshop. Returning home, I was faced with choices that could either advance my dreams or pull me back into survival mode. My father's health was improving, but my mother was still struggling. My town had limited opportunities, and continuing my work in writing required resources and time I didn't yet have. I had to decide, stay comfortable in the familiar struggles I knew, or take the leap into uncertainty, pursuing bigger dreams even if it meant risk and sacrifice. I chose the leap. I applied for scholarships, sought mentorships, and started pitching my writing to national publications. I faced rejection after rejection, each one more discouraging than the last. Some days, I cried and wanted to give up. But then I remembered the countless nights I had stayed awake, writing through hunger, exhaustion, and fear. I remembered the letter I wrote to myself as a child: I will not give up. I will rise. Slowly, doors began to open. One by one, editors responded. Invitations to speak at events came. My stories were being published nationally, and girls from across the country were reaching out to share their own struggles and dreams. It was exhausting, overwhelming, and sometimes lonely. But it was worth it. I realized that every challenge I had faced, every risk I had taken, had prepared me for this moment. I had built resilience, courage, and determination, qualities no comfort or privilege could give. By the end of that year, I had transformed from a small-town girl struggling to survive into a young woman with a growing platform, a voice that mattered, and a mission to empower others. I had learned another essential truth: success is not measured by wealth, fame, or comfort. It is measured by impact, growth, and the courage to continue despite fear. Looking back, I understood that life's greatest challenges are not obstacles, they are opportunities in disguise. Every rejection, every hardship, every sleepless night had prepared me for this. And every choice I made, even the hardest ones, shaped the woman I was becoming. I realized then that the journey had only just begun. Bigger challenges were ahead, and the stakes would continue to rise. But now, I had confidence in one unshakable truth: no matter what life throws at me, I will rise. I will fight. I will inspire. And I will never, ever give up. By the time I was 21, I had begun to see the fruits of my hard work. My stories were published nationally, I had invitations to speak at youth events, and I was slowly building a network of like-minded people who believed in empowering girls like me. But with visibility came a new set of challenges, ones that no amount of writing or resilience could have fully prepared me for. The first shock came from someone I trusted deeply. A collaborator I had worked with on a youth empowerment project began to take credit for my ideas. At first, I didn't notice. But soon, it became clear that they were presenting my vision as their own in meetings, events, and online platforms. I felt a mix of disbelief, anger, and betrayal. I had shared my heart, my hard work, my ideas, and now someone was trying to take it away. I thought of confronting them immediately, but I realized something important: reacting in anger would only make me lose focus. My mission was bigger than personal revenge. I had to choose carefully. I documented everything, gathered evidence, and spoke calmly with the people involved. It was exhausting, emotionally draining, and frustrating. But in the process, I learned an important lesson: integrity matters more than winning an argument or proving yourself to someone who doesn't deserve it. I also faced societal pressures. Many people in my town and even my extended family began questioning my work. They said, "Why do you waste your time writing? Why don't you focus on finding a stable job? Why do you spend so much time helping other girls when your family needs you?" It hurt deeply. For the first time, I questioned whether I could continue on this path. But then I remembered all the girls I had inspired, the letters I had received from young women thanking me for sharing my story, and the workshops I had attended that had changed my perspective forever. I realized that my work mattered, more than comfort, more than approval, more than avoiding conflict. Around the same time, I encountered a personal temptation. I was offered a lucrative deal to write content for a company that promised fame and money, but the work went against my values. They wanted me to glorify ideas I didn't believe in and mislead young people. For a moment, I was tempted. The money could support my family. The recognition could boost my career. But deep down, I knew that compromising my integrity would destroy everything I had fought for. I remembered my father's struggles, my mother's sacrifices, and the promises I had made to myself years ago. I declined. It was one of the hardest decisions I had ever made, but it was also one of the most empowering. I realized then that success without integrity is hollow. Life, however, wasn't done testing me. Shortly after, a major national award for young writers announced applications. Winning it could change my career, bring more exposure, and open doors I had only dreamed of. But competition was fierce. I worked tirelessly on my submission, pouring every experience, every challenge, every lesson I had learned into my story. When the results came, I didn't win. I had invested so much hope, time, and energy, and yet I was overlooked. The disappointment hit hard. I felt anger, frustration, and doubt creeping in again. Was all my struggle meaningless? Was the universe punishing me for dreaming too big? I sat alone on my rooftop that night, notebook in hand, staring at the sky, and I wrote, "I am not my failures. I am not the recognition I receive. I am the courage to keep trying, the strength to keep fighting, and the hope to keep believing. This is not the end, it is another step forward." That night, I understood a profound truth: failure is not the opposite of success, it is part of it. Every rejection, every betrayal, every disappointment is shaping me, teaching me resilience, patience, and humility. And it is in these moments, when the world seems unfair, that the choice to rise becomes most important. By the end of that year, I had faced betrayal, societal pressure, and failure, but I had survived. More than that, I had learned to navigate life's complexities with grace, courage, and integrity. I realized that the journey was never just about recognition or awards. It was about impact, values, and staying true to myself even when it was hard. I had grown stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. And I knew that the real journey, the journey where my voice would truly make a difference, was just beginning. When I was 22, I realized that my journey was no longer just about me. Every struggle, every heartbreak, every sleepless night had a purpose: to equip me to help others rise. My small stories and workshops had touched a few girls in my town, but I wanted more. I wanted to create a platform that could reach thousands, even millions. It wasn't easy. Resources were limited, and I was still juggling family responsibilities and part-time work to make ends meet. But I had learned one powerful truth: you don't need permission to make a difference, you only need courage and persistence. I started small. I organized free writing workshops for girls in my town, teaching them not just about writing, but about self-expression, self-confidence, and believing in their dreams. I shared my story openly, telling them about poverty, bullying, betrayal, and failure, and how I had overcome all of it. Watching their eyes light up, seeing them smile as they shared their stories, was unlike anything I had ever experienced. For the first time, I felt that my struggles were not just mine, they had become a tool to inspire and empower others. Soon, I realized I needed to reach beyond my town. Social media became my bridge. I started sharing my stories online, posting videos, writing blogs, and interacting with girls across the country. At first, it was slow. Few people noticed. Few people responded. But I persisted. I posted every week, sometimes twice a week, sharing not just my journey, but practical advice, motivational messages, and encouragement. Then something incredible happened. One of my posts went viral. A story I had written about resilience, hope, and the power of self-belief was shared thousands of times. Messages poured in, from young girls struggling with poverty, bullying, family pressure, or self-doubt. Many said that my story gave them courage, that it inspired them to keep going, and that they finally felt seen. That moment changed everything. I realized that my voice could reach farther than I had ever imagined. I began dedicating more time to this platform, creating resources, videos, and live sessions to connect with girls everywhere. I reached out to mentors, journalists, and organizations who could help amplify the work. Slowly, a network formed, a community of girls supporting girls, sharing their struggles, and celebrating their victories. But with growth came new challenges. Running this platform, balancing family obligations, and continuing my writing career left me exhausted. There were days I felt like I was drowning in responsibilities, overwhelmed and unsure if I could continue. Some nights, I would lie awake, questioning whether I was doing enough, whether my efforts were meaningful, whether I could make a real impact. It was during one of these nights that I received a message that changed everything. A prominent youth organization offered me a scholarship to study creative writing and leadership in the city, with full support and mentorship. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but it meant leaving my family, my town, and the small community I had built. Fear crept in immediately. What if I fail? What if I can't balance my family responsibilities and this opportunity? What if I'm not good enough? But then I remembered every moment that had led me here. Every struggle, every heartbreak, every sleepless night, every risk I had taken, it had all prepared me for this. I realized that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's acting in spite of it. I accepted the opportunity. The decision wasn't easy, but it was necessary. It was a step toward expanding my impact, reaching more girls, and growing as a person and a leader. That year, I moved to the city, carrying not just my belongings, but my dreams, my mission, and my story. The transition was challenging. The city was overwhelming, the competition fierce, and the expectations high. But I thrived. I wrote, spoke, and led with the same determination that had carried me from poverty, bullying, and betrayal to this moment. By the end of that year, I had grown in ways I never imagined. I had built a platform that inspired thousands, connected with mentors who guided me, and developed skills that would serve me for a lifetime. Most importantly, I had realized that the power of a voice, combined with courage and action, can change not just one life, but many. And so, at 22, I understood that my journey wasn't about fame, awards, or recognition. It was about impact, about resilience, about staying true to my mission, and about lifting others as I rose. By the time I turned 23, my platform had grown larger than I had ever imagined. I was speaking to thousands of young women online, leading workshops, mentoring students, and writing stories that inspired people across the country. It was everything I had dreamed of, but with it came a weight I hadn't fully anticipated. Managing this platform, continuing my studies, helping my family, and maintaining my writing career left me constantly exhausted. There were days when I felt like I was being pulled in 100 directions, and no matter how hard I tried, I could never do everything perfectly. Then came the first real crisis. One of the girls I was mentoring faced a serious challenge. She was on the verge of dropping out of school due to family pressure and bullying. She reached out to me in desperation, and I realized that my decisions could directly affect her life. I worked tirelessly to help her, speaking with her family, connecting her with resources, and offering support day and night. The experience opened my eyes to something important: leadership comes with responsibility, and impact isn't always easy. Sometimes helping others means carrying their burdens alongside your own. Sometimes it means making sacrifices, missing sleep, and facing criticism for your choices. Around the same time, I faced criticism online. People questioned my methods, my intentions, and even my successes. Some accused me of seeking fame rather than helping others. At first, it hurt. I doubted myself, wondering if I was doing the right thing, if my sacrifices were worth it, if I was truly making a difference. But then I remembered my journey, the poverty, the betrayal, the sleepless nights, the sacrifices I had made just to survive. I realized that criticism is inevitable whenever you step into the light. The question isn't whether people will judge you, it's whether you will stay true to your mission despite it. That year also brought a personal challenge. My father's health worsened unexpectedly, and I had to make a choice: continue focusing on my platform and studies, or return home to care for him. My heart ached. I didn't want to abandon the girls who depended on me, but I couldn't ignore my family either. After long nights of reflection, I realized that true leadership isn't about doing everything alone, it's about making difficult choices, seeking help, and balancing responsibilities. I reached out to trusted mentors and friends, delegating some of my responsibilities while I focused on my family. It wasn't easy, but it worked. I learned that asking for help isn't weakness, it's wisdom. By the end of that year, I had faced crises that tested my leadership, my compassion, and my resilience. I had learned that success comes with responsibility, and responsibility comes with sacrifice. But more importantly, I had learned that even in the hardest moments, staying true to your values and mission creates real impact. Sitting on my rooftop one night, notebook in hand, I wrote, "Life is not about avoiding challenges. It is about embracing them, learning from them, and using them to lift others. My journey is not mine alone, it belongs to every girl who dreams of rising, every voice that longs to be heard, and every heart that refuses to give up. That realization strengthened me in ways nothing else could. I understood that the path I had chosen, to inspire, lead, and empower, would always be difficult, but it was worth every sleepless night, every heartbreak, and every sacrifice. And so, at 23, I was no longer just surviving or achieving personal success. I was learning the true meaning of leadership, the courage to act, the strength to endure, and the wisdom to guide others while staying true to yourself. By the time I was 24, I had achieved more than I ever imagined. My writing had touched thousands, my platform for young women had grown into a community of hundreds of supporters, and I had gained recognition for my work. Yet, for the first time, I faced a challenge that felt bigger than anything I had faced before, a challenge that threatened not just my mission, but my belief in myself. It started quietly. I began feeling doubts I had never experienced. Am I doing enough? Am I really helping anyone? Will all my sacrifices ever matter? The pressure of responsibility weighed heavily on me. Every decision now seemed critical, and every failure, real or imagined, felt catastrophic. Society, too, seemed determined to test me. People criticized my independence, questioned why I was prioritizing my platform over marriage, and whispered that I was aiming too high. Some of the girls I had mentored faced backlash from their families because of their association with me, and the guilt of knowing my work inadvertently caused tension made me question if I should step back. And then came the defining moment. A national organization offered me an opportunity to speak at an international conference on youth leadership. It was the pinnacle of recognition for my work, an opportunity to share my message with the world. But it required leaving my family, facing global scrutiny, and standing on a stage in front of thousands. For the first time, fear felt paralyzing. I questioned myself endlessly. Am I good enough? Will they understand my story? Will I falter under pressure? I had faced poverty, betrayal, rejection, and illness, but this fear was different. It wasn't about survival anymore, it was about proving myself, not to others, but to myself. One sleepless night, I went to my rooftop and opened my notebook. I wrote, "Fear is not the enemy. Fear is a signal that you are about to grow. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is acting in spite of it. I will rise, not because I am fearless, but because I refuse to be defeated." The next day, I committed fully to the opportunity. I prepared tirelessly, rehearsed my speech, and reminded myself of everything I had endured. I remembered the faces of the girls who had written to me, the stories of courage they shared, and the hope I had sparked in them. That was my reason. That was my anchor. The day of the conference arrived. Standing on the stage, looking out at thousands of faces, I felt my heart race. But as I began to speak, something incredible happened. I wasn't nervous anymore. I was powerful. Every word I spoke came from my experience, my struggles, and my journey. I told my story, the poverty, the betrayal, the sleepless nights, the victories, and the lessons learned. I spoke about resilience, integrity, hope, and the courage to rise against all odds. The response was overwhelming. People cried, applauded, and shared their own stories with me afterward. I realized then that my journey had become more than a personal struggle. It had become a movement, a source of inspiration for others who thought they had no voice, no hope, and no future. But the challenge wasn't over. Returning home, I faced criticism from some who believed my work was too ambitious, that I should focus on real life instead of ideals. I also faced personal exhaustion. The weight of responsibility, expectations, and constant effort had taken a toll. I questioned if I could continue at this pace without burning out. Once again, I returned to my notebook, writing late into the night. This journey is not easy. It will never be easy. But every sacrifice, every sleepless night, every risk, is worth it if it inspires even one soul to rise. I will continue, not for recognition, not for praise, but for those who need hope. My voice is their voice. My courage is theirs. I will not give up. That moment marked a turning point. I realized that the greatest challenges are often internal: doubts, fears, guilt, and the weight of responsibility. Overcoming them requires courage, clarity, and unwavering commitment to purpose. By the end of that year, I had emerged stronger than ever. I had faced fear on a global stage, defied societal pressures, and reaffirmed my mission to empower others. I had learned that leadership, impact, and courage are not measured by comfort or ease, they are measured by the ability to rise when the world doubts you, when your own fears try to hold you back, and when every step forward feels like a battle. At 24, I knew this: the journey of rising, inspiring, and leading would never end. But now, I was ready to face it with courage, integrity, and hope. By the time I was 25, I had come a long way, from a small-town girl struggling to survive, to a young woman whose voice could inspire thousands. The journey had been long, painful, and at times, terrifying. But it had also been transformative, teaching me lessons no classroom ever could: courage, resilience, integrity, and the power of hope. Looking back, I realized that every hardship I had faced was not a curse, but a preparation. Poverty taught me discipline and empathy. Betrayal taught me discernment and forgiveness. Failure taught me patience and persistence. And fear taught me courage. Over the years, I had built something bigger than myself, a platform for girls and young women to share their stories, find strength, and believe in their dreams. Hundreds of girls had joined my workshops, thousands followed my writings online, and countless more had found courage because of the lessons I shared. But success, I realized, was never about recognition or awards. It was about impact. It was about knowing that my journey, my voice, and my struggles could give hope to someone else, somewhere, who felt lost and invisible. That realization became my driving force. By now, I had opportunities to speak internationally, to publish books, and to collaborate with organizations devoted to youth empowerment. Each step forward was another chance to lift others, to show that circumstances, no matter how harsh, cannot define one's future. Yet, even with success, life remained humbling. I still faced criticism, societal pressures, and personal doubts. But I had learned to navigate them with grace, grounded in the lessons of my past. I had learned that true strength lies not in avoiding challenges, but in embracing them, learning from them, and using them to grow and to help others. I also took time to mentor other young women who were beginning their journeys. I shared with them the most important lessons I had learned. Your struggles do not define you. Your choices do. Your voice is powerful, and your courage matters. Never let fear, criticism, or failure stop you. Rise every time you fall, and help others rise with you. As I reflected on my journey, from delivering newspapers to standing on international stages, I realized that the girl I once was, sitting on the rooftop staring at the stars, had never truly disappeared. She was alive in every story I wrote, every workshop I led, and every life I touched. That little spark of hope, resilience, and determination had become a flame that lit the path not just for me, but for others too. And now, as I write this, I understand the ultimate truth of my journey: life will always test you. It will push you, challenge you, and sometimes even break you. But if you rise every time, if you stay true to your values, and if you use your struggles to inspire others, then you are unstoppable. I am Ayesha, the girl who once dreamed of more under a starlit sky. I am the young woman who faced poverty, betrayal, fear, and doubt. I am the voice of resilience, courage, and hope. And my journey is not over, it will never be over. Because rising, inspiring, and empowering others is a lifetime mission, and I choose to embrace it every single day. No matter where you start, no matter how hard life pushes, you can rise. Your story matters. Your courage matters. Your dreams matter. Never give up.